Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kawabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. In front of elementary schools around the country, you can usually find a statue of Ninomiya Sontoku, his head in a book and a pile of firewood on his back. Ninomiya was famous for his hard work and diligence, studying and teaching himself at night, whilst he worked hard on his family's farm during the day. And it's said that his statue doesn't rest at night either. Once midnight falls and darkness covers the school, the statue of Ninomiya Sontoku gets off his stand and wanders around the school grounds. If you happen to visit a school at night and notice he's missing from his usual stand, beware. If you stumble across him during his nightly excursion, it will spell the end for you. We've spoken about the various 7 school mysteries on this channel before, and I even made a large video covering most of them. I'll leave a link in the comments if you want to check that one out and refresh your memory. But this week, we're going to go even more in-depth into one of the most popular mysteries. We're going to look a little closer at the Ninomiya Sontoku statue. That statue you've no doubt seen in anime or manga that likes to walk around schools at night. Now, if you've ever watched anything that had to do with Gakko no Kaidan or school ghost stories, you've likely heard of this legend. It's one of the staples of the 7 school mysteries, and it would be fair to say that basically every elementary school across the country has at least heard of this legend, if they don't have a version of their own. Ninomiya Sontoku, born Ninomiya Kinjiro, was born on September 4th, 1787, and passed away on November 17th, 1856. His story is an inspirational one, and before he died, he was a prominent philosopher, scholar, agriculturalist, economist, and even local leader. Born to a poor peasant family, his father died when he was 14, and his mother when he was 16. His uncle then took him in, and whilst working on his uncle's farm, Ninomiya spent his nights studying and learning everything he could to better his position in life. Which he did, as smart buying and farming in his early 20s saw him become a considerably wealthy landlord and agricultural producer, which then opened paths in local politics that saw this young man transform the local economy with his smarts and tenacity. This led to the local daimyo recruiting Ninomiya to run the entire Odawara domain, and from there, he kept on moving up. The story of this young man pulling himself up by his bootstraps inspired many then, and continues to inspire many now, which is why you often find his statue in front of elementary schools, hoping to remind young children that they too can go far in life if they just study and put in the effort. Which is all well and good, but how does it tie into his statue running around the school grounds at night, killing people? Seems a bit of a jump from kindly scholar to murderous statue. Once again, the Gakko no Kaidan series is likely to blame for the spread of this urban legend, as it has been for many other school stories. These books first started publishing in 1990 and are often credited for creating the scary school stories boom of the 1990s. One of the earlier stories featured the statue of Ninomiya Sontoku disappearing from his stand at midnight, turning the pages of his book and his eyes glowing as he walked around the school in darkness. Perhaps the glowing eyes helped him to read. He's also known to run with incredible speed for a statue. If you happen to come across him on his nightly jaunt, then chances are good he'll whip out a katana to slice your head off for interrupting his reading time. A reasonable response. He's often seen with red or even blue tears trailing down his face as well. The red no doubt representing blood, and the blue somewhat matching the colour of his statue. Generally a dirty green-grey colour. Yet if we go even further back, we can find the story of the Ninomiya statue in Gendai Minwa Ko 7, published in 1987, 3 years before Gakko no Kaidan started. This was likely the inspiration for the latter story that grew to become a nationwide urban legend. But in this book, we can find a legend from Kumagaya East Elementary School, Saitama Prefecture, that claims if you run around the statue of Ninomiya Sontoku in the schoolyard 21 times at midnight, his eyes will start to glow, and he'll stick his right hand out to choke you to death. Why anyone would want to do this is unknown, but that's how the story goes. Over the years, the legend of Ninomiya's statue has grown, and, if you believe the stories, he gets up to all sorts of hijinks that aren't just killing children unfortunate enough to stumble upon him at night. Some stories claim that the amount of wood on his back changes day by day, if you're dedicated enough to take the time to count it daily. Although, doing so might also curse you, so beware. And sometimes he even gets into battles with other school legends, such as Hanako-san. Schools no doubt get crowded with all these monsters around at night, so it makes sense a few might clash every now and then. There is often not much you can do if you happen across the Ninomiya statue running around at night, so it's best to avoid him entirely. Perhaps you should be at home studying instead, like he did. But either way, he's one of the more common school legends, and for good reason. Who wouldn't be terrified by the sight of their school statue running around while reading a book and chopping heads off with a katana? Stay at home and study, kids, or you might just lose your head. But what did you guys think of this one? Do you have any similar stories from your own schools? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.